Hi guys, welcome to Simply Scuba. So if you're looking at buying your very first regulator, it can feel like a bit of a minefield because there are so many out there. So in this video, we're gonna try and help you guys out and make your life a little bit easier choosing the right regulator. Okay, so the first thing you need to decide is what kind of scuba diver you are, or at least where you'll be diving. If you're happy diving on holiday in nice sunny and warm waters, then great. You can pretty much choose any regulator out there. Here in the UK, regulators have to be CE certified and EN tested. If they don't pass the test, then we can't sell them. Okay, so a regulator is built from 5 parts. The first of which, and really the most important, is your first stage. So the first stage is the metal part that fits to the cylinder, and this is what's doing most of the work. So this basically has a spring in it. Some of them work in slightly different ways, but basically the spring holds back the pressure from your cylinder, and that slows it down, reduces it so that you get a reduced pressure coming into each of the low pressure hoses. But these come in lots of different shapes and sizes and styles, but really this is the first thing that you need to be looking at. The next bit is the second stage. So this is the primary second stage, which is typically black or at least monochromatic. So this is the bit that you breathe from. And it's a demand valve. It's a one-way demand valve. About 98% of regulators, or second stages at least, are what we call a downstream regulator. So these, if anything ever goes wrong with the second stage, it will go wrong in an open fashion, so it will give you more air instead of just shutting off. The third part is an octo, or an alternate air source. So this is an alternate second stage. So usually exactly the same or a very similar design to your primary second stage, but in a bright yellow coloration. So this is just in case of an emergency. It makes it much easier to see. Same sort of usability and function, so that in an emergency it's really quick and easy to get used to, and you know exactly how it's going to work. On top of that, we also have some kind of pressure gauge or submersible pressure gauge, and these either come with a depth gauge and a compass as well, or you can just get double gauges, so you take the compass off, or you just get a single gauge, which is just your pressure gauge. Completely up to you, sort of what you really want to use. Some divers just prefer a single pressure gauge, so they just know how much air is in the cylinder and they rely on their computer for the depth and the compass and whatnot. But again, completely up to you. On top of that, you also get inflator hoses. So these typically come with your BCD or your dry suit, but you can get them sort of separately, so you can pick and choose what length and color and style sort of quick disconnect goes onto your regulator. When brand new, the first stage and primary second stage come together in one kit, so all you need to choose is the Octo and SPG. So one thing that you need to know about regulators is that your Octo has to match the first stage, so they always have to be the same brand. You can't mix and match brands with regulators. Most manufacturers offer either 1 or 2 Octos for their entire range of regulators, but some actually make a dedicated Octo for each primary second stage, which can make your life much easier. So it's very important to keep the same brand regulator. So if you have a Scubapro regulator, you need a Scubapro Octo, Mares regulator, Mares Octo, and obviously all the other brands. But other than your Octo, you can start to mix brands. So your gauges and inflator hoses can be from any brand, that really doesn't matter. Okay, so your first stage is the most important part of the regulator. And as a general rule of thumb, the heavier the first stage is, the better the performance for cold water. So if you're planning on diving in colder waters, then you need a bigger first stage with heat exchange fins. Smaller, lighter regulators sacrifice cold water performance for weight. But if you're not planning on diving in waters colder than 10 degrees Celsius, then they can be a great option for the traveling diver. Take note of exactly how many ports are fitted to the first stage, as you can't add any more. Most have 4 low pressure ports and 2 high pressure ports, but some have more or less. But make sure that you have enough for what you need. So if you plan on using a wireless air transmitter, for instance, make sure that you have 2 high pressure ports. Your primary is the workhorse and does most of the work, but most on the market function in much the same way. most only have 2 user adjustments, if any. A venturi lever, which interrupts free flows, and a breathing adjustment, which allows you to adjust exactly how hard you have to inhale to open the valve. The more you spend on a regulator, the smoother and easier it is to breathe. Some regulators also have automatic venturi systems, so you don't have to switch it yourself. Also look out for servicing intervals. Most regulators need to be serviced at least once a year to replace parts and adjust, but others like Scubapro or Atomic have longer 2 or 3 year intervals, so you can save some money yourself in the long run. Okay, so that was a quick video helping you choose the right regulator, but if you want more information, there's plenty more on our website, and you can always visit us in store and talk to one of our service people on how to choose the right regulator. All of these are available at our website, simplyscuba.com as well. Thanks for watching, safe diving. We are an online dive store serving the UK and the world for all your diving equipment needs. So why not visit us at simplyscuba.com or click the box on your screen.